Sorry guys, the camera was doing a funny tilty turn thing. Hello there painted lovers, Jonathan here. I'm doing a real live. Mr. M is behind the camera and I'm looking at your screen but you've moved on to something else. Anyway, right, so we're doing a real live. This is not a pre-recorded premiere as usual. I'm here in my workshop. I've been doing a new release of a Woodubend trim, a brand new one, and it's the House of Mendes range. There's three brand new trims, and I'm going to show you just a few of them right now and what they look like, and then we're going to look at the piece of furniture that I've been working on today. I wasn't intending of doing any of this today. I didn't realise it was the release date, but I've worked on something. I was going to have a rest, but I'm going to continue with that project through this live and see where it takes us. I have no idea. Anyway, have we got anybody there, Mr. M?
Yeah, we've got 18 people.
Oh, so that's unusual. I wasn't expecting that because it wasn't scheduled in any what way. Okay, so I'm going to go through this very quickly and show you some of the brand new House of Mendes Woodubend trims. So we're going to start up with, we have got Thin. So this is the name of the brand new Woodubend. It is, if you want the codes to these, it's TR802. And it looks like that, or it looks like that rather. It's double-sided. I think there's 2 meters in length on each side of this. And there's also a new meter length. So that's 2 meters in that pack, ready for use. So there's 2 different sizes, and the actual Woodubend, you've guessed it, very plain. It's a half round again, but this time, this is about, I would say it's about 6 millimeters, not 6 millimeters, 9 millimeters. It's just shy of a centimeter, I think. Let me just snap a little piece off so you can see in my hand how that looks. So it's just shy of a centimetre. I can see a lot of use for these plain trims. Now, the reason I wanted plain trims without design on there is because many pieces of furniture which have apertures to the doors have these lovely little trimmed edges. And I think that would be great for just keeping the piece of furniture kind of not overly fussy, even though I've done something that's quite fussy. We'll see. Anyway, so that's Thin. I've got to remember this. One's called
Slim.
I want to say Slim Trim. So that is Thin. We'll move over to, what is it?
Slim.
Slim. So this is Slim. Slim, the number code to this is TR801. Again, it comes in 2 different size packs. I've already used one. So the meter length, which comes double-sided, and the 2 meter length, again, double-sided. And here it is. You can see, now this is even more minute. It is literally 6 mil across. It's really thin. All of the measurements are going to be up on the Woodubend site, so you can see this. I'm going to pop it in the hand again. Now, this one was based off an English piece of furniture, actually. Quite often in the UK, we get pieces of furniture with this size trim along the edges of drawers and cupboards. Now, I have looked hard and fast for a wooden trim that is the same size, and it doesn't exist. Well, at least I can't find it. It must be some wholesale somewhere. So I made Solly Joe design with me exactly the same thickness. So if you know that mahogany type furniture, the modern reproductions, quite often the stuff that I work on, this is on the edge, but I can see this being used in so many different ways because it will be so flexible. You could actually do spirals with this. It literally is a great slim trim. So that's Slim Trim. Right, the final one, again, all very plain. We've got lots of curlicues and lots of detailed Woodubends out there, but I wanted to go with a very plain set. So this is called ribbon, and you can see why. Very thin. It's about 2 mil in thickness, and it's about 16 millimeters wide. There you go. And you can see that would be great again around the edges of drawers. I can see so many different uses for this piece of Woodubend trim. So I have got this and I've used it today as a fix to the cabinet that I'm working on. And I'm going to share with you the cabinet which I've used slim, thin and ribbon on today. I'm going to move all of these out of the way so I don't knock them over, and then we'll have a closer look at the cabinet. So the cabinet that I've worked on has been in my workshop for about 2 years. I actually tried to give it to Solly Joe and she turned me down. She wasn't very keen, and I can understand why. I'm going to show you, stay where you are, Mr. M. I'm going to find on my iPad how this looked earlier on today. I took a screen grab because I didn't take a picture, as you do. Right, here we go. I don't know if you can see that on camera very well. So this is a very cheap piece of furniture that us in the UK, it's Mexican pine. We get a lot of this and it's very cheap. And the things that I don't like about it are these connections, these hinges, I'm not keen, these butterfly hinges and the handles, just not nice. And these black studs, really not my favourite piece of furniture. So I've decided to use my Woodubend trims to change the whole look. I've also done quite a lot of surgery on the piece. So let's take a look at what we've got. Mr. M can scan over. So this is how it now looks after a little bit of work. So starting from the bottom, I had some legs which I'd taken off another piece of furniture and I've had them stored for some time, and I thought the legs would really change how this piece looked. As you can see, this is what it did look like. It had this ugly, quite chunky farmhouse bottom to it. So I've had to saw away the sides. I had 2 sides. I've sawn them away till I've got a flat surface. Added the legs, and then what I've also done is change the hinges out. So I had to fill those butterfly hinge holes on here and use quite a thick hinge. It's not ideal, I know it's not ideal, but the cupboard door needed to fit in the aperture and it was shy, slightly shy with a big gap. And what I've used is the ribbon internally, so you might have to come in. I've used the ribbon to thicken up the edge. If you can see here, in between the hinges, it doesn't look too pretty, but by the time this has got paint on it, we won't see. I've used that just to thicken the side and the door, at the top and the bottom, in between the hinges, and that is allowed the gap, which was big from the hinge, to go in. So I've used this trim as a fix to my piece of furniture. And I think it's narrowed that gap in. I've had to sand away, so it's still got the beveled edge, because of the beveled edge around here. I've also changed out the handles, 2 handles, they've gone. So that ideally changes the piece of furniture. If you can see the little bits of paint on here, this is Annie Sloan satin paint. Now, you might be wondering why I've just put satin paint. There's some on the top as well. This is the colour canvas, I think. I had, when I got this piece, it had ink, children's felt tip pen, I think, all over it. So I've used Annie Sloan satin as a stain blocking primer, and it works superbly well. It takes about 3 coats, but when you've only got small areas to do, and it dries really quick. So I've used that as a stain blocking primer, but we are going to be painting this with chalk paint. So also I've added another Woodubend at either end. This is not a new one, it's out there. I cannot remember the code to this one, but it's on the website. and I've used Slim to connect the pattern, which I think really adds a really wonderful detail. I suppose I'm kind of going for a rustic sort of French look, but it's still quite bulky, this piece of furniture. It really is quite bulky. Nevertheless, I think it has changed. And also I've used some corner corbels. I say corner, they're not, they're flat. I've got one over here. I'll show you what this looks like, and I do know what code that is. That code is 6075, and that's how they look. But what I've done is, let me take one out, to wrap it round the corner, I've taken like an oval shape on a 45-degree angle out of the center of this piece. I've heated it up, taken it out, take some of the material out of the center, making sure not to go through to the front, and then that allows you to curve it. You can curve it round. If you try and curve this round that 45 without taking a bit of the material out the back, it will struggle. So I think there is videos of me doing that with some larger corbels on my channel. So that's how I got them round. I've also used thin. Is it thin? Thin, is that the name of it? Thin.
Yeah.
Slim and thin. So thin has gone underneath here, the connection, and it's also gone on the bottom above the legs, just to give that a nice finish. So that is inside the hinges. You've got the ribbon, you've got thin, and you've got slim. Oh, there's also slim on this panel, which I also think really does change that whole panel, and it ties the top and the bottom in together. So that's what I've done earlier on today. If anybody wants to see that happening, I did do that over on my Facebook page as a live, so you can go back if you want to see these bits going on. Mr. M filmed it earlier on. Have we got many people here?
Yeah, we've got 31.
That's lovely.
And Deborah says, beautiful piece of furniture. Can't wait to see transform. Love you style, Deborah from North Carolina.
Hello. So, the question is, what colour do we paint this? I have already asked the question, and with it being kind of a bit French, there's a few colours that spring to mind, but quickly pop that into the comments, what colours you think, or what colour, because we're going to just flat paint it first, maybe do a bit of dark wax or white wax, I'm not sure. Hit me with some colours that you might like. I'm just going to grab Mr. M's phone so I can see some of the comments as well. Right, I need to come out of that and go back in. I can't see the comments. Let's come out. Sorry guys, hit me with some colours. Right, I've got to watch the adverts. That's annoying. What colour would you paint something that's kind of French? I've got a little bit of an idea of what I might, here we go, I can see some comments now. I'm looking down at the phone, sorry. Not got any new ones, so I'll just leave that there, have a slurp of tea. Have you got any colours coming up?
Nothing.
Well, initially, what I was thinking to do with this piece was to paint it one bold, bright colour, because I don't do that very often. And because this has been with me for 2 years, it was just a fun project, really. It was not intended to be anything swanky. I was just hoping that ultimately I could just have a little bit of fun, kick back and use the Woodubend mouldings. Any answers on the postcards?
So I've got Sonia light blue.
Light blue.
And Thin and violet.
Violet.
Yeah, and second chance, a light of coffee with dark wax.
Can you hold the camera up? I think you'll do.
Oh, pink.
Pink. So when we discussed this earlier on, me and Mr. M, I said, I know what will come up. It'll be pink, and it will be blue, and maybe grey. And I do a lot of pink, so I'm going to step away from the pink. I do a lot of green.
So green and blue, French tones.
Yeah, they're definitely green and blue.
File red.
I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you options here. I've got some colours out, and my initial at first glance was Versailles with a little bit of dry brushing of old white, or I was going to go with a colour mix, something with Chateau Grey mixed with a little bit of French linen and maybe a bit of Chicago Grey, just to lighten that. So we've got a very pale sort of Chateau Grey colour with dark wax. So it's either that or Versailles, I think. It can always be painted over again. Once I've painted it, I can paint over it again. Layered would be quite nice, but we haven't got time for layering paint tonight. So what do you think? Versailles or a Chateau Grey colour that I'm going to mix? What do we fancy? Let's see what the first person says. You're all very quiet anyway. I'm going to move some things around and grab what I've got here. No one's coming in. I think you're just willing to watch. I think I'm going to make the decision myself. I think I'm going to go with a Chateau Grey colour, and we're going to mix it. We've got a container, so we're going to mix a colour up. So I'm going to do Annie Sloan Chateau Grey.
Yeah, Mary mentioned Chateau Grey.
Yeah, it's a nice colour, but I just think as it is, it's quite strong of a colour, so we're going to make our own version. I'm just going to pop Chateau Grey in there, and we're also going to mix in a little bit of French linen to mute the tone. And we're going to paint, so it's a paint party. What have we got here? Chicago Grey. This should lighten it a little bit, but still keep it on the grey side. A little less of that. Right, let's get a brush in and we'll mix this around and see what we've got. Might have to add some more Chateau Grey. I don't want the French linen to overpower it, so we might have to add some more Chateau Grey, I think. Oh, I don't know, that's quite nice. Yeah, I'm just going to pop a little bit more Chateau Grey in there. I still want to keep it to the greenier side. There we go. And then we can do some painting. Yeah, a lovely softer version of Chateau Grey. It's quite a neutral, but I just think it would look really lovely. What do we guys think of that colour?
The camera looks a bit greeny, doesn't it?
It looks more green on camera, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm looking at the camera, but it is kind of like a beige green. We'll see as it goes on. It's not as, it looks more like Chateau Grey in there, but hey ho. Oh, and the people arrive. By the way, guys, what I've done regarding the Woodubends, the new trims, first of all, what I would say is if you've got a local stockist or if you want to find your local stockist of Woodubend, go over to their website and there is a retailer finder. So if you want to support local, go over there. Otherwise, in the description box to this video is an affiliate link, which is my affiliate link. So if you fancy purchasing any of these trims or any of the others, please use the affiliate link if you're not using the stockist. Right, I think let's just paint. So I'm going to start on the side. I think I might be all over the place. It's a little difficult because I can't see what's going on really. The idea is what I want to do is add sort of texture to this piece. I'm hoping I've mixed up enough paint. So I'm going any what way. And I think what will happen, it will really showcase the difference once we've painted over. What a difference the trims make. Actually, that is a nice colour. It's kind of a soft, muted green. So that's one of the trims at the bottom. So I'm just wondering how everybody is. Is everybody well? Our usual gang here. Do we have our usual gang here, Denny?
We've got Valerie.
Valerie's here.
Yeah, where's the other ones?
So, not very often you guys get to see me painting at real speed. So this is real speed because it's live. Usually the flat coats of paint are sped up in the tutorials. There we go. We will have to do another half pass for coverage. This is where I come round. It looks like French linen on the camera. We're in artificial light because it's dark here in the UK. So it doesn't reflect the colour as well on the camera in artificial light. There's the horrible handles, the hinges that came off. Not so nice. A little residue of blue on there. That's it. There we go. Right over that trim. Straight over the hinges as well for me. Right, we're going to do some painting inside. Cover the hinges and all of that ribbon trim, so it all looks kind of as if it was always like that. I will tidy up inside. Probably, well, it won't be tomorrow now, it'll be next week. And I'll do some pictures of the piece so you can see all of the details. That'll be over on my Instagram channel.
So Kimberly, she said she got you live. I'm like, so sorry for this question, but are you using a wash or is this full straight paint?
This is straight paint, there's no wash. It needs probably another coat, and I've probably not mixed up enough, but we'll see. I can always get this coat on, then mix again for the second coat. Yeah, straight paint, no washing. I don't think this piece I'm going to do any technical sort of treatment other than either dark wax or white wax even, maybe. I'm not sure yet. So once it's dried, one of the other, and just keep it simple. That's why I'm adding lots of sort of different directions with the brush, just to keep it sort of interesting when the wax hits it. The dark wax probably. It's not the greatest piece of furniture that I've ever worked on, but it just shows how much to you guys that, given the trims, what a difference it can make. Under there. So French cupboards tend to have a double panel, and that's why I've added this slim trim in there, because I thought rather than it just being that scooped away panel, it really does add that little extra detail which blends in with the top. Yeah, these Mexican pine cabinets, we get them an awful lot in the UK, and they're very cheap to buy second hand. I think, in fact, I was given this, and it's just sat there for a long time doing nothing because I have had no inspiration whatsoever for this piece. But now it has at least slightly new life. Yeah, that colour's really nice. Let me have a look on camera. Yes! What a difference already. Here we go. Oh, we've got 67. What's it say? My problem when going to mix is trying to replicate it again. Yeah, well, what I would say with that is, if you need to replicate, I don't measure anything. I will use this up and then I'll mix another batch. I know more or less what it's going to take, and then give it another full coat. So I'll get it as near as I can and then give the whole thing another coat, I think. Depends. This is grabbing quite well to the surface. We might just have enough to go over it again. I don't know. We'll see. But that is a thing, mixing. That's why I use these plastic containers. I'm not a fan of plastic, but this is the second use. These are recycled, and I have lids. So if I overmix, I save my paint, so I can reuse the paint again. So I'll just mark it up, and then I know I can reuse it in another colour mix. So you have to be kind of careful when mixing colours. If you've got a big piece, you need to mix definitely enough for that piece. Right, let's just go in for the kill on this. This is where the magic will happen. So I'm using an Annie oval, medium oval, which is really helping me get into some of those details, just wiggling the brush around. Any what way into those crevices. Oh yes, what a difference! A huge difference. So paint, trims can make the world of a difference to a piece of furniture. I may even post the actual image of the, well, it's not the before because I didn't take a picture, but the actual piece that I found online, which is very close to this piece, so people can enjoy the difference.
Mary, don't know how many of these types of furniture cabinets I turned down. Now I know the way to go. Thanks a million, Jonathan.
Who was that from?
Mary O'Connor.
Mary. It'd be nice to know where Mary is based, if she's UK, because we get a lot of this in the UK. And it is hard to try and... I mean, it's had major surgery. It's had the bottom cut off and a new set of legs, and then lots of sort of details gone on. But having said that, the only real details are these two and these two. And the handle's got a bit of detail, which I thought married into those. Tried to keep it top heavy and a little bit more simpler, but what I've done is replicated the slim trim around the aperture of that, so it kind of ties back in to the top a little bit. So I think it kind of works. And then underneath that lip there's another trim. What I do need to do is make sure that I paint the inside of that. I'll do the underneath. That's it. Sorry guys, I'm going to jump in front of the camera. Here you go. I don't know if you can see this. Is it going to come through? There's a little bit of ink on this. It's not quite showing. There's a little bit of ink up here. Oh, here we go. Can we see there on the camera? So that's where I didn't put any satin paint. It's slowly coming to the surface. I don't know if you can see that.
I don't think you can.
It's there.
Ah, yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah,
so that is a little blob of ink which is bleed through. So I also had it up here on this corner, pull back. It was also on this corner and on the top. So that's why I use satin paint as a stain blocking primer. It works really well for me, and I've got it on hand. So you could use any other stain blocking primer, but I just knew that that would be ink. Children's ink seems to love bleeding through chalk paint. So there we go. Go like that. Into these details. Up into that. All right for paint, actually. We might get a second pass over this. Or do we just mix up another batch? I think we will, and we'll mix it into this. I think that's what we'll do.
Mary O'Connor, based in Ireland.
In Ireland?
We get as many as you do, I'm sure.
Yeah. They're sold in big stores, like in this country we've got Dunelm, Argos. They're very cheaply made and it's like a real soft wood, pine. And they're not very, if you paint one you know exactly what's underneath, whereas this I've tried to hide exactly what it is by using the trims and the legs just to hide what it actually is, because I don't like them either. Alright, let's do this leg. I hope the camera work is good because I've got Mr. M on the camera. Right. So now we can do the top, and then I'm going to mix a little bit more up. It's got a few lumps in this paint, sorry guys. All the hopefully we won't get any bleed through. Nice big lump there. Right, I'm going to hit this with the hairdryer to dry it quickly, and then we'll add another coat. There we go. How's that looking now? Now it's had its first coat of paint. It looks almost kind of a bit royal. That handle looks a bit crown-like. It looks a bit crown-like. Almost like a... Should have painted it pillar box red. I think it would have looked like a letterbox. Right, so I'm just going to quickly mix another batch of paint. In she goes. Coming to the end of that can. Not that one. I'll have this one. This one. A little bit of French linen. And actually, even if it's not the same colour, I quite like the nuances of colour. It'll be a soft, if I do any what way with the brush again, it is going to be a soft blend. So I'm not worried. Chalk paint is so forgiving. Right, where's my lovely little mixing brush?
Second chance to ask, why are the backs so rarely finished? Is it the back of the cabinet?
Of my cabinet, why is it really finished?
No, not really finished.
Not really finished.
So rarely finished.
Well, let's see, let me see. I'm the wrong way up for reading it. Why are the back so really finished?
Rarely.
Really? I don't know whether that is my work, whether I finished the backs. More recently, I've been doing the backs and the bottoms and the insides, because that is asked quite a lot of me. The reason that I don't tend to do that is that Mr. M, this one, gets to do it before they're sold. So I don't put that too much into my videos because I'm usually doing a technique, and the technique requires a lot of information, and that takes a lot of time in a video. So you don't tend to see that, and same with waxing, I'll speed it up. But quite often, if it's a good back, if the back of the cabinet is quite good, the wood is good, because that's near the end, I'm just going to do that. Sometimes I'll use, hang on, there we go. Sometimes I'll use one of these on the back, This is an old IOD roller, long time old. So I'll just paint a coat of colour on the back, and then I will choose a contrasting colour and I'll roll the back with a pattern. It's a quick and easy way just to make your piece look really high-end finished. So that's something that I would do, but I would get Mr. M to finish it for me first. Right, I think that is a good colour mix. It's close. Right, so guys, if you want to stay with us, you can do. I'm going to hit it with a hairdryer just to try and get some of the moisture out of the paint, so I can just give it another quick going over. Move some of these cans out of the way because I know I'm going to get messy. Right.
On my phone.
Pardon?
On my phone.
Oh, and Mr. M's phone. So I will prop it up there so we can see. Wrong way. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that can come out of the way. Hands are nice and dirty. So let's quickly give it another quick dry. Any questions, pop them in now. And once it's dry, I can answer the questions.
So Kathy asked, is that a regular hair dryer that you use?
Yeah, it's a normal hairdryer. I have the heat setting on the hottest. Rather than a heat gun.
Yeah, she asked, what is the difference between the hair dryer and the heat gun?
Right, so the difference between the heat gun is there's less blow. That is great for applying Woodubend mouldings. I would definitely use that for the mouldings. The hairdryer adds blow and heat, which dries the paint much quicker. Chalk paint will dry much quicker that way. Let me just dry my hands. I've got a thing for having too much paint on my hands when I'm working. So it's not completely dry, but we're going to go for it anyway. You would really leave it another, an actual nice, sort of a nice dry day, not a damp day, and it is quite damp outside. You would probably leave this for about half an hour till it was dry. But the hairdryer speeds things up, so whilst we're on the live, now let's see if we did get a close colour. It's not bad. It's not bad. So again, I'm adding sort of textural strokes. There's loads of little bits of bits of the edge of the can in this, but I'm not going to worry about that. It'll all add to its character at the end. Any big blob I'll take out. I'm really in love with this colour. It's kind of like a neutral, like
it's lovely.
A nudie greeny colour, which I deliberated for some time with Mr. M, looking on Pinterest earlier on, thinking, what colour should this be? I like Chateau Grey, but I felt like it was just a little bit too green for the piece. I thought neutral, keep it neutral, it'll be very saleable. Second coat always goes on beautifully. Just keeping some of those sort of brush stroke textures in there as well. Because that'll be fun with a little bit of dark wax over it. Right, that's in for the kill on the legs. So once you paint over everything, like these legs were dark wood, not pine, it really makes everything come together as one. That's what I like about paint. You can hide so many things under paint. You don't have to be a carpenter to get a piece of furniture looking great. How's your arm doing, Mr. M?
Still alright.
He's got the camera and it's not the bestest of jobs when you're holding the camera up. And the great thing about chalk paint as well, it fills some of the missing blanks. So if you've got any connections that are not so good with your Woodubends, chalk paint will fill them. It's fuller bodied. Quite often I paint over hinges and sometimes I paint them back in, depending on what look I'm going for. You'd never know that ribbon trim was tucked away in there now.
No.
It's gone. It's hidden away.
Here is Lily.
Oh, here's Miss Lily. Say hello to everybody. She's normally in the videos. She likes to come and help paint. What have you been doing? Yes. What's up with you? Your eyes are all closed. It's not bedtime yet. Oh, thank you. That's it. Any other questions, Mr. M? Not noticed any?
No.
Everyone's
No.
peacefully just
Christine
watching.
Pinheiro is from Brazil. Someone from Manchester.
Manchester.
Second chance said the top drawer does look like a letterbox.
It does, doesn't it? I should have painted it Emperor Silk and it would have been like the Royal Mail. But it really does look like a letterbox. That's okay. I'll go with it. Sorry about the wobbly noise on the table. I don't know if I can just wait for it under here.
Kata, she asked a question. Can you use a heater gun for epoxy molds to make softer?
Can you use a heat gun for epoxy molds to make softer? Your cat looks like.
My flash.
Your flash.
What is
Epoxy, I'm not too sure about that one. I don't use epoxy molds very often. I presume you mean for making trims. I'm not sure. It depends what the mold is made from. I would say it's silicone. I'm not sure about that one. You might want to jump on to somebody like IOD for that question. I know that some epoxies actually heat up anyway when the two are combined, and it does make the moulds quite soft. So I would probably say that's a no to heating them up. Let them go off naturally rather than adding any extra heat, because it's a chemical reaction, I think, with epoxy resin. So I would say no, but I'm not an expert on that. Epoxy on anything else, on the top of anything, yes, heat gun or like a heat flamethrower, that helps to definitely to level the epoxy resin off. I'm winning.
It's looking good.
It'll look even better when it's had a coat of wax. Right, let's do the letterbox. It's my cup of tea that's making the noise. There you go. There you go, it's my cup of tea. It needed drinking, that's what it was. That's not as noisy now, is it? So wiggle the brush into the details. No rhyme or reason with this, I'm not thinking about it too much, not planning it. Any what way, just make sure there's paint in all of the crevices. into that one. Lots of detail in there to cover up. Oops, paint everywhere. Just adding a few little brush strokes here and there. There we go. Right, final side, and then we can go to the top. Drink of tea there. It was a pretty good match of colour actually. But if you're not too sure, I wouldn't worry too much. Stray hair. If you're going for a flat finish, then you have to worry. Because you want it to be all of the same colour. But if you're going for textural and waxes and stuff over the top, then no, I won't worry. Another stray hair. I don't mind the bits of paint, the lumpy bits of paint, but I don't like stray hairs, and I don't know why. I just think it looks not so nice. Right, in with the other leg.
Kathy said perfect cabinet for indoor garden station.
Oh yes, it's got a bit of a gardeny vibe, hasn't it? You know me, I like gardeny stuff. I like green as well, you know that I like green. This is a soft green. Good time to check over the legs from the underneath. Yes. Right. Oh, Miss Lily's hungry, that's what she wants.
Lily.
She wants food, or she wants in on the action, one or the other. Right, let's get this top done. So there should be just enough paint for me, well, nearly got you, to finish the back, the underneath, but I won't be doing that tonight because I want to dry it, and if you guys want to stay with me, you don't have to. You really don't have to stay, but I'm going to dry this and then we're going to put some wax on it and see what we've got. And if I don't like it, tomorrow I can change it. But I think it'd be alright actually for a quick project. Normally I spend 3 days on a project. This has been half a day. The whole construction plus the paintwork and the Woodubend moulding. So I wouldn't normally rush it, but the piece of furniture I wasn't loving anyway. You watch, it'll be one of these pieces that we end up finding a place for it in the house. It won't be for somebody else, it'll be for us, because I'll end up loving it. Mm-hmm. So none of the bleed through has come through, which is great. 3 coats, I think it was, of satin paint just to cover up the ink. And ink is worse than water bleed through, I think. Ink is tinted, so it really does come through, and it was bright green ink. What do we guys think? Do we think this is credible? I think so. What have we got down here?
The other side, there.
Mr. M is pointing out the bits I've missed. Although dark wax is going to hide a lot of this, I think. There's a stray hair. I also used the satin paint as... Oh, there you go, you can see. Can you see that's what would have happened? Can you see the green? Right under my nail.
Yeah.
That's bleed through, which was all over the top, lots of it as well. What was you giggling at?
Karen asked, why does Mr. M have to hold the camera?
I could have put it in the thing, and if he wants to go, I've said to him at any point, if you want to go, I'll just pop it in the keep it steady. It's so we can read the comments really as well. Right. A little bit more in there. And then we can get this dry. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Right. Lid will go on top of this paint. That's how much I've got left, which should be enough to do the underneath as a flat coat and the back. I will probably put a different colour on the inside because I like to do that surprise and delight, but let's get this dry. Make sure I've covered everything up.
Deborah's asking, are you using dark wax?
I think I'm going to use dark wax. I think for me, because this is quite a pale colour, if I'd done it, let's say, Chateau Grey, I might... It's telling me off. If I'd done this Chateau Grey as a solid colour, I probably would have gone in with white wax, just for a change. But because it's quite a pale colour now, I'm going to use dark wax. I think it'd be really lovely with dark wax. So I'm just going to give the top another coat because I feel like I've left some patches, but we won't work on the top for a little while. Another quick coat, just the fact it's going to take more of the wear and tear the top. Sorry guys, how many do we have here? How many people are watching?
79.
Oh, you've all stayed. I will carry on. You don't have to stay with us. But if you want to see the end result with some wax on, then you're going to have to wait for it to dry a little bit with the hairdryer. It would be nice if you do stay. That's it. Bit of texture. I think that's good. There's a knot there. I can see a little bit of a knot in there, but that's fine. Dark wax will hide all of that. Right, carry on drying. We're nearly there, guys. Okay guys, so if you've stuck around to this point, you've done well. Watching paint dry ain't fun, is it? So, is it dry enough? What I would say is, when you're painting with chalk paint, don't do as what I'm just about to do, is dry it quick and then put your wax on, because if you have got any paint anywhere that's still wet, and in this case in the crevices, the paint and the wax will mix, and then if you're going for a flat colour, it will show. The two will combine and be slightly a variation of colour. But because I'm adding lots of dark wax at the end of this, I'm not going to worry about it. But I would give it a good amount of drying time. As you can see, it's boring watching a hairdryer dry paint. So we're just going to add some wax, really. We're just going to pop some clear wax over the whole piece. Your arm's aching. Right, let's do something else. Let me see if I can I rotate the camera from here? No. Oh yeah. Hey guys. So I'm going to clip you in here, so Mr. M can have like a rest of his arms, because his arms are aching. There we go. I don't know why the camera went this way up as well. But at least I can see what's going on now. Yeah, it looks kind of all right. It looks a little bit like a letterbox. Let me just wash my hands, guys, and then I can move on to a little bit of this waxing. Let's see what we get. Right. So, like I said, if this is not right and I'm unhappy with how this looks tomorrow, I could make sure that I buff the wax in really well, and I can paint over it again and do a whole different paint treatment. So that is another thing. We have cheaply made pine furniture in Australia. Also, we have, yeah, there's loads of it, isn't there? Brown wax would look lovely, I think. Yes, let's go for that, I think. Kathy, your baby is a female version of my Flash. Oh yeah, we talked about Flash. She is a Turkish Van Cat. She's a pedigree that we didn't know about until one of you guys on here told me that she was a pedigree. She came to us as a stray cat, and she's very mischievous. Am I dry enough? Yes. Let's just go for it. Let's pull some clear wax on this piece, ready for a little bit of dark wax. Now, I have got all of my wax brushes, I think, being cleaned as we speak. That one's not clean. None of them are clean. Oh, what we're going to do? So all of my wax brushes are stood waiting to be cleaned. So I'm just going to use this brush. It's not the right brush, but nevertheless, it'll do the job quick. So let's load up the brush. I'm going to start at the top, I think. Quite a nice brush for getting into the details, actually. I've never worked so quickly on a piece of furniture, guys. It's literally 60-minute makeover. you still reading the questions, Mr. M?
Trying to look, but my phone is not showing.
It's not showing you. I'll check. Nothing exciting. Second chance. Chuck, you and Mr. M can sing and dance while we wait. Yeah. Sing and dance, sing and dance. Actually, this brush is quite nice for waxing. I think because it's got an angle, it's a natural bristle, so it's kind of like a wax brush. But it does get into the crevices quite nicely, all those details. Maybe save the legs till last, I think.
I need a tea. Karen's asked.
Pardon?
I'm gonna make a cup of tea for mine.
You're going to make a cup of tea?
You want one?
Yes, please. Cup of tea. I've run out. Here's my mug. I don't know if there's anything in it. This is like literally how it is when I'm filming. It takes a long while and then I stop, start. So it's really unusual to do it live. Mr. M needs a tea. He's gone to make them. Right, onto the sides. Actually, I'm getting a little bit hot. Let's take the cardigan off. It was really cold because it's dark outside. Let's get rid of that. Lose the cardigan. And biscuits, yes please. The camera is picking up the colour a pale grey green. Love it. It is kind of a pale grey green, but a little bit French linen-y. Let's see if we can move it down a bit. Yeah, it is I mean, we've got artificial light in here, which is not good on camera. Normally I film in the day for the tutorials, and it's not the best light by far, but it is kind of like a grey green. And of course, dark wax will change it as well. I'm being very gentle with the legs because it's a shiny surface underneath. And I don't know if they're fully dried. I can always go back again if I need to, because I've got plenty of paint left. That's Trouble Back with tea. Lovely. I've lost a little bit of paint on the back leg. It wasn't quite dry, but never mind. I can go back. I quite like it. Right, that is the sides and front done. Let's just hit the top with a bit of wax. I'm making sure there's plenty on, so I've got enough play with the dark wax. Never use dark wax directly onto chalk paint, not unless you're using black or dark brown, something that you want to be darker. I think many of you will understand that. You need the clear wax as a boundary to be able to manipulate the dark wax. And that's why I've applied plenty. I wouldn't normally do this as much, but we're going to keep on going with the project, so I would have a little break in between. What time are we on, Mr. M?
Let me have a look. Can't tell.
You can't tell the time.
It is 9 o'clock.
Is it 9 o'clock? We've been going for an hour and a half. Oh, look at that. No, a bit more. Oh, look at that. Mr. M comes and saves the day. Right. I don't suppose... Oh no, it should be alright. Right, let's do some dark waxing. Let's find some dark wax. We'll go with this. We might actually scoop some out. I'm going to leave it on this lid. So that's dark wax. And which brush should we use? This one might be nice. So I've got this little brush. Again, natural bristle. I think that'd be quite nice to use. And we're going to go for all of the detail. I'm going to push it in any detail, stippling it in. It will look a hot mess first, but don't be frightened of it. If you've got enough clear wax on, it will do what it needs to do.
Lauren, I've got a question for you.
Good, go for
Would
it.
you recommend priming mahogany furniture first and giving a light coat sanding? That is layers of varnish, I think, of paint of my bedroom furniture.
So I paint on mahogany quite often. A lot of reproduction mahogany in the UK we have, and I never ever prime or prep mahogany at all. What I would say is sometimes if you scuff sand or sand into mahogany, that can create more problems. So if you break through that varnish and get to the wood, when you use chalk paint, it will pull, it will give you bleed through. So I would be just painting straight on the surface, just a good old clean and straight over the top. Not unless it's really highly shiny, like a really lacquered finish, then a very light with a sanding pad, just lightly scuff sand it. But I don't, because sometimes it creates me more issues than it's worth if you do that. So no, for me, no. Other brands of paint might react differently, but with chalk paint, Annie Sloan chalk paint, I would say no. So I'm making sure I get into all of my little detailed areas. So there's definitely wax in there. Along that crevice.
This seems a bit goldy.
Yeah, it does look golden. Because dark wax, Annie's dark wax, has got a little bit of a yellow hue to it. So this is where I bring back the clear wax, and I'm just going to offload a bit, and I'm just going to go over the top. It gets a little bit messy, just to free up some of that wax. You might want to decant your wax out of your can. So you can see it starts loosening the wax.
Right, Deborah asked a question.
Yeah.
What can you do about bleeding through with mahogany? I have had a similar problem.
Bleed through with mahogany. So stain blocking primer. Quite often, I work on mahogany a lot. I'll do one coat of chalk paint. It then indicates where that issue is going to be. So you'll basically be able to see where those little anomalies are going to kick out. So then I would go in with like Zinza 123 or something like that, so that you can get the areas that are the problems, really. So yes, it can be a nightmare. It really can. Bleed through is probably one of the most asked questions ever. It will do it with any paint. Even if you was using emulsion, it would still do the same thing. So you just have to work with what you've got, really, I suppose. So I'm going in with clear wax just to loosen any areas that I don't want so heavy. I quite like heavily dark wax pieces. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. So we're going to give you a close-up of how heavy I've done this. But I think it looks all right. Not everybody does like lots of dark wax, but I think it looks great.
It looks good. I would little
Really highlights the details. Makes it look more letterbox-like. But it's great with this colour. I think it's just add that little nuance of extra. And you can see my textures. Let's just bring you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, let's go. I can't, can I swivel? Oh yeah, I can swivel the camera. Swivel the camera. So there you go. It's a little bit heavy. Hang on, I'm just going to get my wax brush in. A little bit heavy here. Drop my... So you can use, whoops, you can use your cloth just to take off as much or as little as you like. But there you go. Really highlights the details on the piece. So that's what we have. We're going to now move on to the corbels and up and over. And then we'll do this cupboard door. Then anywhere else. Ooh, that's Mr. M's phone. So let's go back. I think it's our friend ringing. There we go. Right, let's keep on going. Into the details. Up and underneath there. Anywhere where you might think dust build-up would be. We'll do the other side while we're at it. It's a simple paint finish and a simple wax finish, but it can be so beautiful if you add the texture. we'll travel it down. Who was calling?
James saying her guinea pig got babies again.
Oh, we're going to be guinea pig fathers soon, I think. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Makes a big difference, doesn't it? As soon as you put those bits of dark wax, it looks more commercial.
In reality, it looks better than the camera.
In reality, it looks, that's nice. In reality, it looks better than on the camera. I'm sure once we get some pictures and we post them on Instagram, we can see. I just love a simple finish, and it's not very often that I get a chance to just do simple, and you know, the beauty of dark wax. It's a completely different piece of furniture. Right, let's go into all of this detail. Go heavy on these, top and bottom of these little crevices. Make sure we fill them. And the lower crevices, there's lots of different crevices in here, corners. We'll do the handle as well, seeing as that's painted. And we'll go over the hinges. Underneath the legs. Spread that around with a bit of clear wax. So back in with my clear wax, just to loosen again. And then I'm going to use my cloth to offload, spreading that around the legs. See how easy it is just to remove it once you've got those, the undercoat and the top coat of wax in there. And this is where the Woodubend mouldings come to life, really. How many? Oh, there's 80 of you tuning in. That's great. Ah, Daniel's here. What colour did you use? Is that Chateau Grey? Oh, you wasn't here for the beginning, was you? No, it is Chateau Grey mixed with French linen and a little bit of Chicago Grey for a custom colour, and I think it's really beautiful. It is such a beautiful shade, especially with the dark wax. It almost looks kind of woody, which is quite nice. Bit too much dark wax there, so I'm going to loosen it again. I don't mind round the handle so much. I will go inside just a little bit, just so it travels the door. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking? Do we like? I think I quite like it. Take some off the legs. So what I would say, all in all, is don't be frightened of dark wax, because dark wax can be amazing if you use it in the correct way. Let's give it a little tickle inside here. Do it with this. There we go. What are we thinking? Do we like? Nearly to the end? Nearly to the end. Right, let's do a quick pass on the sides. What I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to use the dark wax into the details around the edge. And then use the clear wax just to fill in the missing blanks. Just to speed things up, because this is loaded up half and half, clear and dark. Very quick and simple. There we go, slight shading around the edges. Love it. Oh, so we've got to love it. That's good, isn't it? It's a long time since I've just done a piece with a little bit of texture and dark wax, and I love it. You forget sometimes the simplest of ways of painting with Annie's paint can be amazing. Right, so same again. I'm going to create a faded edge under the details first, bit on the legs, into all of the corbel, up and under there, and down. Another side done. Final side to do is the top. Let's go for it. Well, you've all stayed here consistently whilst you've been watching me work. That's nice. Ooh, it's lovely. It's weird because it's almost got a bluey tone to it, but it's not blue, it's green with grey and Frenchman. It's lovely. Just loosen that a little bit more. Okay guys, I think I'm done. Let me check if there's anything. No, I think you are going to keep it. I think I probably am. I quite like it. So, what can I say about dark waxing? Don't be frightened of it. Plenty of clear wax underneath. It allows you to spread out the dark wax. Go back in with some clear wax. Decant from your... because this is what happens. So the only way you don't want to do that, because I've been working quick, what I will do is I'll take a cloth and I will remove all of that. So that's something that you don't want to do. So take out of your container on a plate, paper plate to one side, and then you won't have that same issue. But you want to be using clear, dark, clear cloth. Take it away. It'll sit really beautifully in all of the right places. Tomorrow I will go, once this is set, I will buff, so I can make this to a bit of a sheen if I want to, but I'll just buff it into the surface. It should stay where I want it to stay. What have I got to do? Paint the underneath, paint the backside, and paint, take the tape off, give a coat of paint inside, something fun, maybe Scandinavian pink, something kind of zesty inside, maybe decoupage. But that's it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the piece so you can see how it looks. Now it's kind of got its wax on. I can't resist but keep on playing, but I would be doing this anyway. Yes, very woody. I'm happy. Right, let's spin the camera around and I'm going to give you a bit of a tour. Right, let's go. It is poor lighting in here, remember. So we'll go in for some real details. Look, can you see? I'll go up here. All of the little brush strokes, textural pieces. I go like that. And then round like that. Right into the details. Top surface is good. All tucked away. Right round. So this is all of the new Woodubend trims. Links to my affiliate links to the new trims, these ones, the one underneath there, and yeah, the same one down there, and then the one that I used on the internal to fix the ribbon, which was here. They're all in the description box below. I'm really, really pleased with how this looks. I think let's grab the iPad. I think this is quite a commercial look, which I think possibly, sorry guys, I'm trying to do two things at once. Needs my face. So I'm going to just push this back. And we're going to put that there. Okay, so this is how the piece started out live. As you can see, there's the remnants. There's the base. And this is how it ended up. So you can see the lighting's gone really weird now, hasn't it? But that is what I've changed. I think that's not a bad fix. Are all of those Woodubends? Yes, Daniel. They're my new collection, the House of Mendes range. So we have slim, and this rounded one here is thin, all smooth Woodubends. And there's another one which I can show you. It's easy to show you like this, which is called ribbon, which is that one. And believe it or not, it is in the project. It's in this gap to fill the gap with the new hinges because the door was much smaller. Once the original hinges, those ugly hinges here, you can see how unwell made these are. Can you see there's a bigger gap there than there is at the hinge side? I had it the other way around, a bigger gap here. So I used a little bit of the new trim in that gap just to fill it, sand it away, and you've ended up with that. So there you go. Where did you find the new legs? Well, you can buy new legs on eBay. I know that you can, but these, I'm a hoarder of everything. So these came off another piece of furniture that I dismantled for a different project, and I've had them for many, many years. So it was the time where these bits of wood got cut off and then applied to this piece, which I think changed it. Thank you, Daniel. That's very kind. So there you go. I'll pull right back because you might get a better look of the colour. It's nighttime here, guys, so it looks like French linen, but I think the dark wax is making it look French linen, but it is a slight greeny tone. But I hope you like it. So, that is my work done. Don't forget, once this live is finished, please come out of the whole thing, jump back in, find this video again, the live, because it will go up, and leave me a comment, anything. You can say you hate it, you didn't like the whole thing. I don't mind. It will just help the algorithms to this tutorial because it's a live, and lives don't do as well as the premiere. So go back in and start talking in the comments, and it should help other people find this live, because I wasn't intending to do it. So, oh, good question, Joanna. Whoa, what's the question? Can you get these new trims in Australia? I'm sure there is stock. So go over to Woodubend, www.woodubend.com, I think it is. And they have a stockist finder. And I think there is stockists in Australia. So you should be able to get them. I'm not sure whether they will ship directly. I think they do ship directly from here. You won't be able to use my affiliate link. I don't think so. So go through the website, that's for sure. I hope that answers the question. But yeah, from me and Mr. M, who has already gone in, he's gone to put his feet up. It's getting late. It's nearly, I think it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, nearly. I'm not sure. So it's quite late here. Hi, Jonathan. Where can we get the new trims in Australia? If there is stockist, I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know how to answer these questions, but I'm pretty sure there is stockists in Australia, and they should have them on the shelves. From what I gather, all of the stockists got chance ahead of time to put in orders for the new trims. So just check out www.woodubend.com, look for the retail finder on the system, and then it will put your zip code in, and then it will give you the nearest retailer. And I know there's many retailers that will ship out anyway. Some of the US ones will do as well. Is Mr. M looking for a place to put it in? It probably is. It is quite nice. We have got we've got a single bedroom, but there's not enough wall space. It would have been quite nice in there. I will take some pictures of it. I think it's worthy of some nice pictures. I will stage it, pop something nice on top, and maybe finish the interior. But yeah, what a long way we've come from that piece to that piece. And that's all just with a few Woodubend trims, even this little bit round here, this little bit there. And I think it makes such a big difference to how it looks. Anyway, time to go in, time to put my feet up, work again tomorrow. Thank you all for joining this live and for staying right the way through. I wasn't expecting that. Don't forget, once we've ended this live, please come back out, go back in, try and find the lives. It'll be under the live section, and just give me any old comment and I'll try my best. If it's a question, I'll try my best to answer them, but it's nearly bedtime, so I'll do my best. Anyhow, much love. I will see you all very soon. Hopefully I'll be back here next Wednesday with a premiere. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.